Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Boxing First. I'm your host tonight, G Funky Boxing, and my co-host for the night from War Week Radio, the one and only Joseph Heron.
Well, give the man a hand.
How you doing tonight, Joe?
Oh, I tell you what, brother, it is with heavy heart that we are convening. But hey, man, we give thanks and praise, especially in the midst of the storm. God is great. God is great.
Yes, sir. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, the press conference for the big fight this Saturday, Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford, on Netflix. We're going to talk about, our reaction to the press conference, the way it was ran, some of the questions and whatnot. Obviously, there was one hot moment that everyone is kind of talking about.
Shock. I was in shock, G Funky, that our brother James Bell asked a fanboy question, and Sean Zattel was the one who actually lit the fire under Dana White.
Oh,
I
man.
thought it'd be the other way around.
Shout out to our guy James, man. He's a good guy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the judges and the referees that got the assignment for this huge event. Joseph has written an article, and we're going to go over that because Joseph has really got a good eye for judges. He keeps track of their of how consistent they are, and how they score fights. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about some betting strategies. And we will squeeze in a moment to speak about the tragedy that happened yesterday in Utah with Charlie Kirk. So we got a lot to talk about, guys. And make sure you hit the like button when you come in.
Dude, even that cheap imitation of President Obama.
Ray Rahim here.
Asked a tough question. Where's your FEMA money? When Michael and I were first married, she's got a bigger joint than I do.
Oh. Oh, man. So let's get into it, man. First off, let's give some credit to James Bell for being there from the Boxing Source. Got his opportunity to get the mic, ask a question. Joseph. Oh, man. What did you think, man, of James's question?
I thought he blew it. I thought he took the easy way out. He fumbled the ball when he got his opportunity to get on the mic and asked a fanboy question. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, James. Brother, what happened to the judges? I told you, ask them about the judges. Did they have a problem with any of the judges at ringside? No, he asked him a fanboy question. Man, it's going to be the Crawford era and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, why didn't you just give him a reach around while you're at it, brother?
Oh man. That is a brutal take there from Joseph Heron. Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but he blew it. He blew it, man.
We had a comment here from my man Steven in the chat. He says, if Crawford can cope with Canelo's punching power, I got him winning 6 to 7 rounds and losing a majority decision. Well, yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit here. But
you know what, brother? I tell you what, you've got some savvy listeners, brother, because that is a very, very astute take.
Yeah, guys. And also, what did you think about? I feel like there was, obviously there was some media from Mexico there for this fight for obvious reasons. But there was this one guy who was up there and, he asked Canelo a question and then he asked Crawford a question and he says, Terrence, are you ready for Mexican power? And I was just like, that was cringe.
I just started laughing. Dude.
Oh, that was so cringe.
But I will say this, Terrence, he is handling the pressure like a champ.
Yeah, he doesn't look like the moment's too big for him. He's up there answering questions. He's never been
the table with the high individuals.
he's never been the most outspoken guy when it comes to these things, but I feel like he's adapting well, and
he looks like he's genuinely having fun, doesn't he?
Yeah. These guys that have to adjust to, there's extra stuff that comes with these type of events, that they have to do, and they look like they're doing. They look ready. They both look like they're ready to fight. That's for sure. So I'm not really worried about Terrence anymore, about him possibly choking here under the bright lights, but Kenny Bayless on the I think his the official
I saw that
podcast, and he doesn't even have a question. He just wants to say, I reffed both you guys, and I just want to say good luck. And like, honestly, I don't feel like that should have been someone going up there and say something like that. Just a comment, and
no, dude,
like you're wasting time, bro. Like
once again, he's just solidifying everything that we already knew about Kenny Bayless. That he's an attention whore.
Oh,
look,
man.
And you always had to worry about. This is why he always wanted to be more officious than he should be. You always have to worry about the guys who have the catchphrases. Hey, I'm fat, but I'm firm. Look at Joe Cortez was the same way.
Joe Cortez. Yeah. What's going on to Bruce Gass and
what I say you must obey. Like, dude, the guys with the catchphrases, they secretly want to be stars. They want to be in the forefront. Those are the guys you got to worry about.
Indeed, and we don't have to worry about that in this fight with the referee that we got for Saturday. So before we get into the hot moment of the presser, anything else you want to comment on before we get there as far as the questions go? We'll talk about some other things, but anything else you'd like to mention, Joseph, from any of the questions?
Yeah, I'll say this. Where was Boxing Scene? Where was Rings Media?
Yeah.
Where were the real periodicals?
Where
was USA Today? Where was ESPN?
Yeah. Why weren't they there?
Where were Forbes? Where was Fox? Where was CNN?
Sports Illustrated?
Where were all of the real journalists? We got a bunch of YouTubers up there.
There was quite a few. Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
That,
oh my gosh, Fight Hype and Radio Raheem are asking the hard questions.
Really? They're not really known for that.
Wait a minute. What is this, Bizarro World? Oh, Radio Raheem here. I'm a cheap imitation of Obama.
the Dollar Tree Obama was there asking tough questions.
Dude, and that guy's a scavenger. I'm still pissed off, man, that he chewed my entire pack of gum when he was sitting next to me at ringside.
Oh my goodness, Joseph, you got some stories, man. But
I do, man, and I could tell you more, and it's embarrassing, so I won't.
Right. So, yeah, I thought it was a little. I don't want to say unorganized, because obviously they had their guys and their people lined up to ask questions, but at the beginning I was getting a little annoyed. Like, the first guy who asked a question had to ask it like 3 times in a row. Like, it almost seemed like neither fighter was paying attention. And then Canelo's like, can you ask the question again? Like it was a little weird at the beginning, man.
You're gonna see something different. I promise you, you're gonna see something different.
And you know what? I was anticipating seeing something different because of obviously the stage that it's on. But no, nothing was really out of the normal with this thing.
See, that's once again Dana White proving that he's a lying sack of shite. He's basically the American Eddie Hearn. He's so full of shit, his eyes are brown. Guys, once again, this guy's a con artist. Oh yeah, we do things so differently in the UFC, and and we're going to incorporate that with boxing. Dude, it was the same old shit.
Yeah, nothing different. So here's the one hot moment of the press conference. And
I have a newfound respect for Sean
Zettel, who's been around the YouTube thing maybe as long as me, maybe even longer, got up there to not only ask, he didn't want to ask a question to either fighter. He wanted to ask questions to Dana White.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
yeah. So we're gonna play the video here. You guys are gonna be able to hear it, and then we're gonna give our response to it, and you guys as well can give us your reaction to this. But here we go.
Dana, this fight, as you said earlier in the week, is set to be the third highest gate in combat sports history. The second biggest gate you've promoted alongside Mayweather McGregor. The top 5 gates in combat sports history come in boxing, and they come in the last 10 years. So my question to you is, why then do you want to make sweeping changes to the Muhammad Ali Reform Act that is meant to protect fighters to bring about a business model that currently has your company already paid out $375 million in antitrust lawsuits and has 2 potential pending class action lawsuits on the way as well?
Well, this is obviously a long discussion. If you want to talk to me about that, set up an interview. This isn't about me and my business. It's about these 2 guys on Saturday night.
My follow-up, Dana. Earlier this week, the California State Athletic Commission had a hearing about TKO trying to bring those changes to the Ali Act, and it was postponed 3 months.
Listen, I get it. You want to showboat right now. Set up an interview with me if this is really what you want to talk about.
It's America, baby.
If you have questions for these 2, ask them and you can set up an interview with me.
Dana, my follow-up is, if TKO can't make those changes to the Ali Act, will you still invest in the sport of boxing? Will you compete in the market?
Listen, if you want to be an asshole, let's do it in private and we can do an interview.
Yes or no?
If you want to showboat, I get it. If you have questions for these 2 that are fighting on Saturday, that's a different story.
Fight.
This isn't a discussion to have at a press conference for these 2 that are going to fight on Saturday, 2 legends. If you want to set up an interview with me and ask me these questions, let's do it one-on-one.
Sounds
and
good.
You can ask me anything you want.
All right. Well, Terrence and Saul, have a good fight.
Okay, so
Aaron Jr., I told you guys.
with that being said,
con artist, guys.
With that being said, guys, yes or no in the chat, do you think Sean Zettel gets that one-on-one interview with Dana White? And Joseph, I'll ask you the same.
That's hilarious. Brother, the better question is he ever going to get credentialed to another TKO event ever?
I tell you what, this is what they're going to say to him next time.
He's got to go.
Yep, now play the other one.
Oh, yeah, and on the way out the door.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Yep, there it is. There it is. Guys,
oh man!
Look, they already know. Look, he could have been smart, Dana White, and said, "Look, something's got to give. Look what it took to put this fight together. $150 million purse licensing fee just for the main event."
Yeah,
guys, that's not a way to make money or to run a business. All of the money is going to the fighters. Now, once again, we want the fighters to make the most amount of money possible. But come on. We're all trying to make a living here.
Yeah. And
it becomes an unsustainable business model by giving out inflated purses. It creates no incentive for the fighters to bust their ass and fight more than 1 time or 2 times a year.
Yeah,
and
look at PBC.
The health of the sport suffers. He could have easily said that.
Yep, look at PBC, guys. Look where they're at, and they did pretty much exactly what Joseph just said, and also Kamikaze here. Our good friend in the chat says, shout out to Canelo for also checking Max Kellerman on UFC being bigger than boxing. Boxing
Yes.
will always be big, always better and bigger.
Yeah, did you see Dana White's face after that?
Oh, his face got red like a lobster, man. Like,
yep. Mas puto. Tell you what, man, put a dot on the top of his head. It looked like my, yeah.
But let me ask you this, though. You know,
it looked like Big Mike.
Raheem here.
Raheem. What a scumbag.
John, look, credit to him for going up there and asking that question. But do you think, I'm always a firm believer in this, Joe. There's a time and a place for everything. Do you think that was the time and the place for that? Or do you think he should have tried to get a one-on-one and then ask him those questions?
No, look, Sean has always been the smartest guy at Fight Hut, right? He's not just an ass kisser like Radio Raheem, right? He's always been the smart guy. He understands there's no way in hell I'm going to get a one-on-one with this guy. No way. No way. Especially with the questions that because he heard me. He heard me. Because did you hear Sean Zattel as well as other guys like Brother James casting aspersions, asking the hard questions to the California State Athletic Commission? And they pulled their support from Dana White's amendments to the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. And they said, okay, we'll revisit this in December.
Yeah.
They pulled their support. So, yeah, everyone heard Sean Zattel on that day. And he knows, hey, you know what? I'm never going to get a one-on-one because who am I? But we need to make this public so that mainstream media outlets start asking these same questions. Start taking notice. And what a better way to do it than in front of the mic on the press conference. I thought it was a brilliant decision. I would have done the same thing. You know me, brother.
Yeah. And, you know, it was by far the best moment from the media tonight at the presser.
If you want to call it media.
Right. New media. I don't know. Maybe we can call it that.
Now, just look. This is why we call new media outlets guys who have never written a real journalistic piece ever.
Yep.
Glorified fans with a camera and a mic.
Yeah,
That's all they are, guys.
And we're gonna get into some. We're gonna get into some real journalism here in a minute. Not a lot of back and forth between the camps. Sometimes we'll see trainers kind of have a little back and forth. Fighters, obviously, but we didn't get to see that here. What did you think of that, Joseph? Do you think they should have let them kind of have a moment there to speak to each other?
No, what that told me is that they are tired. They are exhausted. They've been doing media out the yin yang starting probably 3 weeks ago with Netflix cameras.
Yeah.
They are tired. And they're like, let's get this over with. Man.
They're ready they're ready to get this thing on, guys.
Yep.
And I know most of you watching haven't been around professional fighters when they're preparing for a fight, especially this close to the date. And that's why you're here, because Joseph and I have, okay?
That's it.
And guys, yeah, they're pissed off, they're hungry, and they're ready to tear somebody's fucking head off at this point. You know? Just go and listen to, remember the 24/7s that came out. I mean the Legendary Nights on HBO.
I remember working with when I was doing PR for a specific fighter that'll remain nameless. You know who this is. And it was in a title fight, and his wife didn't even want to talk to him.
Ah, yes. Yep.
And she was like, no, Joseph, you go in there and tell him. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're his wife, and you want me to go in there? No, thank you. He's going to bite my head off. And so I went in there like a pendejo, and I talked to him, and he threw me out of his hotel room.
Yep, they're in no they don't have any patience at all, and again,
Guys,
they're
if
preparing
you're
for a
cutting
fight.
weight, and look, this was a guy who was cutting weight to make 175. Oh no.
Yeah,
He should have been at 175, and he was cutting weight to make. See, you'll know if I
168.
say it. You'll know it was a 172 catch weight. You'll
Ah,
know
okay.
exactly who it was if I say that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
here's another hint. He was fighting Andre Dawson. No, not Andre Dawson. What's his name? Andre Ward. Yeah. See,
but
I gave up the last name. Yeah.
so here's another thing, guys. When I brought up the legendary nights, I remember there was, I believe it was when Tommy Hearns fought Hagler, and he was saying, I was just getting tired of going to city and doing these things, and they were looking at his ugly face every day, and I just want to hit him right there. It's like, yeah, man, these guys are fighters, man. They're ready to go. I'm already seeing the usual suspects on social media talking about nervous energy.
Oh, good Lord.
This guy's scared, that guy's scared. I don't know how many times I go over this, guys. These guys aren't scared. All right. They're not scared. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it really blows my mind. But let's kind of move on, guys. I mean, the face-off really was, and again, we saw a handshake at the end of the face-off, right?
Yeah.
So that tells you everything you need to know, guys.
We always tell you guys this. These guys love each other.
Yep.
Now, of course, they're ferocious competitors. They want to win on fight night, but they are friends. They are so happy that they're going to be linked in history forever because they are business partners for all intents and purposes. They are making each other career high paydays.
Yep.
So you tell me if they dislike each other.
Yeah.
You tell me, G Funky.
No. And not to mention, they're both making a boatload of money here for this
Canelo
fight.
just revealed it.
Right.
Yeah, I just made $100 million. And I already know Terrence Crawford is making 50.
Yep, they're making a killing, guys. So yeah, there is no bad blood here. And yeah, you got it. There's respect. Obviously, both guys are very accomplished in this sport. And yep, Saturday night, we're going to have a fight. I have no doubt about it. Both guys will step on the scale tomorrow afternoon and make weight. Well, they'll probably both step on the scale earlier than that, but for the ceremonial weigh-in.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, I will text you, and I'll go ahead and write an article what their actual weights were at 10 a.m. Okay, because that's when they're stepping on the scale, Pacific time, right?
Yep.
Vegas is Pacific right now, isn't it?
Yeah. And my prediction will be tomorrow. We're going to be going live during the ceremonial press conference. I'll give you
my prediction as well tomorrow, but I'm going to give you my betting strategy today, and I'll tell you why, because it has a lot to do with who the judges are in this fight, right? Mm-hmm. And so that determines my betting strategy, who the judges are. And in this case, I still can't believe this gentleman got this assignment. Can we talk about this right now?
Let's do it, guys. So let's shift into the next topic of the show tonight, where again, guys, this is journalist stuff here. Okay, take notes, guys. Joseph has written an article about the judges, and again, one in particular that sticks out like a sore thumb here in an event like this. So, Joseph, the floor is yours, my man.
Okay. Well, the title of the article, guys, is "Will Judge Max DeLuca be this event's C.J. Ross?"
And for those of you that don't know who C.J. Ross is, C.J. Ross was the judge that had Mayweather versus Canelo all the way back in 2013, a draw. Yeah, that judge. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and hey, I nailed her on that one too. I predicted she was actually going to score the fight a draw. Because I noticed back then that she had a terrible tendency of giving the close competitive rounds the benefit of the doubt, overwhelmingly so, to the B side. She wanted to be one of those Mavericks saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be swayed by the promoters. I'm not going to be swayed by the A side. And in turn, she ended up being overtly in favor of the B side. And in this case, Max DeLuca, it's the very opposite. Like, I went back and looked at his most egregious as well as his most recent cards. He was one of the ringside judges for Haney versus Garcia, guys, last May, right? How did he score that fight, guys? Even with the knockdowns, even Haney getting his ass whooped, he scored it 112 to 112. Guys, go back to 2014. I even dug that far. He scored Ruslan Provodnikov over Chris Algieri, 117 to 109.
Good Lord.
That may be the worst card I think I've ever seen.
Yes, that is just horrible. Wow.
So guys, ask yourself, and once again, he also did Julio Cesar Chavez Mijo over Brian Vera. 115, 113 in Carson.
Another bad decision there.
Also, he did Sean Porter over Yordenis Ugas, 115, 113. He just did Mario Barrios, 115 over Manny Pacquiao, 113.
And see, that's a head scratcher because that was just a couple months ago.
Exactly.
And he was in the main event for that event, and now he's in the main event for the biggest fight card in boxing this year.
So guys, what I do and the way I do this now, so it's not enough just to point out the terrible cards because everyone has an off night, but when it's this frequent on this stage, there's something wrong. So what I went through is I looked through all of them to try to find trends. And the trend that I found his weak area when scoring a prize fight. When there's a round that's too close to call or he can't decide who the winner is, he always gives it to the odds favorite, the A side. The guy who's favored to win. That's his fallback. Look at this. Now, once again, I'm going to point these scores out. Who was favored on Haney versus Ryan Garcia?
Devin Haney.
He was a 10-1 betting favorite. And he gave all the close competitive rounds to Devin Haney. That's why he scored it a draw. Now go back and look at Ruslan Provodnikov versus Chris Algieri. He was giving every competitive round to Ruslan Provodnikov, scoring it an absurd 117-109.
Yeah, and that fight, I kept hearing a lot about that fight, that it was one of those, well, it kind of depends on what you like. I felt Algieri clearly won that fight, in my opinion.
He gave him a boxing lesson.
Yeah, that's what I felt as well.
So, once again, who's the favorite going into this?
Yep. Canelo Alvarez is the slight favorite currently.
With that said, with judges like Steve Weisfeld, Tim Cheatham, and Max DeLuca, you can already put one in the bank for Canelo Alvarez. That's Max DeLuca. And guys, this is going to be a very close competitive fight. I think it's going to go the distance. So my betting strategy is to bet a draw, guys, plus 1,400 hedged with a Canelo Alvarez knockout. If you do a group round bet between 9 and 12, it yields plus 1,000. That's
really
10-1. Yep.
Wow.
So that means you put $100. And guys, once again, G Funky, who did we just see in Vegas there? JR.
Oh yeah. Hey, call him up. Tell him.
Hey man, dude, I've paid him several times before for doing things for me. So
head to the sports book,
brother.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
head to the sports book.
money. Once again, he's going to go to the sports book. He's going to make a couple bets, guys. And my bet, I can guarantee one of them is going to hit because of the judging. This was a terrible, and I can't believe Team Crawford. What a massive oversight. They did not contest Judge Max DeLuca.
And he was asked about that too. Yeah, he was asked about that. He said, "I'm not worried about that. You know, my job is to go in there and
you
dominate."
better be worried about, because there's no way in Hades you're knocking out the cinnamon boy.
Yeah, man. And look, we got some comments here from our good friend Steven. He says, "I watched Mayweather Canelo the other day. Canelo didn't win one round." I mean, you could make that case for sure, man.
Yeah,
you could make that case. Crawford has to win. Crawford has to win 9 definitive rounds and not get knocked down once to win a decision. Yeah, I even remember speaking with we interviewed Joel Diaz, who was in camp with Dimitri Bivol for his fight with Canelo, and I asked him about the fact that you could make a case that Bivol probably won 10 rounds in that fight. But all 3 judges had it a 7-5 decision for him, unanimous. Yep. And I asked him about that, and he was like, he basically agreed with me that he did win 10, but he goes, but what I saw was at least 8 clean rounds that went to Bivol. And they still ended up with a 7-5 decision there. So boy, a draw, that actually does sound. What are the odds on the draw, Joseph, by itself?
Plus 1,400. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my goodness. That is great odds, man. If it goes to, oh boy.
So guys, the War Week Boxing Sexy Bet of the Weekend. Here's your strategy, guys. A round group bet for a Canelo knockout from rounds 9 through 12. If he knocks out Terrence Crawford in the back third, you win $1,000 if you bet 100. It's 10-1 odds, guys. It's a plus 1,000. And then straddled with a draw, which yields plus 1,400, guys. You can't lose.
Yeah. Boy, that's some good money there, man, if it hits. And my man 92 AKU is here. He says, "Viva Mexico, cabrones." And I was born ready. Steven here says, the first fight with Triple G, one judge gave that's Adelaide Bird.
Adelaide Bird, yes.
Max DeLuca, he might be that one here. What the odds of Canelo ducking David after the that's a tremendous question.
Still bringing that up? This is why I was surprised that and look, I'll be honest, guys, I am usually very biased. I mean, very unbiased. I'm usually very unbiased. In fact, I usually don't care who wins. But I'll be honest, guys, the more I think about it, the more it bothers me. And I am pulling out the Terrence Bud Crawford pom-poms for this fight. I am. I can't.
¿Por qué, señor?
Okay. Well, look, this is a disc jerk off, right? Well, you're going to see something different. You're going to see something different in the ring in this fight. Yeah, what a tough guy. Picking on someone moving up 2 weight divisions when you pissed your pants when David Benavidez showed up.
Oh, man.
Sorry, guys. And this guy, what a badass you are, Canelo. What a tough man you are. Oh, you're going to see something different. Yeah, you're talking to a freaking welterweight. A guy who began his career at 135. Why didn't you say that to Benavidez? Why didn't you say that to Morrell? Hey, what happened to the rematch with Bivol?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were saying that too. I had a lot of people tell me that, Joseph, earlier in the year, before the Skull fight was announced, even though we all kind of knew that was going to happen. I was telling people, hey man, look, the possibility of him fighting Crawford this year, it's high. It's highly likely that it's going to take place.
Yep.
Nah, hell nah, man. He ain't fighting Crawford. This is what I got from fans. He ain't fighting nobody, man. Yeah, he's gonna move up and he's gonna fight Bivol. He's gonna go for undisputed at 175. Okay. Like, bro, he don't want no parts of Bivol again. Come on, let's just knock that off.
No, you know what? I deserve to fight whoever I want. I earned that.
Uh-huh.
No one can tell me who to fight.
And you know what? I was glad that Radio Raheem asked him about that. And there was some boos from the crowd, man. There was a lot of boos. So the Canelo fans can say what they want, right? We know they're going to defend their guy regardless. But even the casual mainstream fans that are there at that press conference booed when he mentioned Benavidez. That tells you guys, yeah, it would be a big fight. I would be more excited for it, I'll be honest. Because I feel like it would be a much, I think style-wise, it's a much better
say that to
matchup.
David Benavidez. I want to hear him say that to David Benavidez, G Funky. No, you're gonna see something different. Yeah, it's good. When you step in with the ring with me, you're gonna see something different. Yeah, say that to Benavidez.
We'll see if he does. We'll see if he does, because this is another thing that fans were telling me, that Benavidez was avoiding working with Turki Al-Sheikh because all the smoke's over there and he don't want no real smoke. But
well, what's happening on November 22nd?
Exactly. You guys always end up eating your words because, quite frankly, you just don't know enough about the sport. Okay, you just don't. But let's move on from the judges. Joseph,
it's all right. It's all right. If you're a fan, just say so. Hey, you know what? I can't be unbiased on this because I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
The sport needs more fans like you. But when you try to defend nonsense and noise, you just look downright gay.
Yep. And look, I want to just say, Joseph, fantastic work you did there on Max DeLuca. So let's give the man a hand.
Thank you, my friend. Look, like I said, dude, I do this for every major fight. And most of the time, this is why you always see the same guys getting the big assignments, because you don't want to leave anything up to chance. So when I heard the name Max DeLuca, that was immediately a red flag, because I knew that, you know what? I remember him being in some terrible cards, but I didn't know how bad they were until I did my research. And guys, I'm going to read this again. Rizlan Provodnikov versus Chris Algieri. He scored it in favor of the Siberian Rocky, 117 to 109.
Good Lord.
That may be the worst scorecard I've ever seen in a championship fight. Like, what fight were you looking at, dude?
Yeah, that is just horrid, man. Horrid.
So how is he getting this assignment?
Yep. That's a head scratcher for sure, man, because you
want... Again, okay, look, if you've done great work recently, that was 10 years ago. Okay, fine. You may have learned something since then.
But nope.
But last year was Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. And just a couple months ago, Pacquiao.
112?
Yep. And then just a couple months ago with Pacquiao and Barrios.
Barrios, you actually thought he won?
Yeah. I don't know how. And you know that, and you know what's weird? Not only is that a bad scorecard, but like you said, that's inconsistent with his trend.
Yep.
You know, Pacquiao was the aggressor in that fight because Barrios just waits around.
No, dude, it's not inconsistent. It's consistent with his trend. Now, once again, it's not the A side. It's the betting favorite.
There you go. Yeah.
He favors the odds betting favorite in the close competitive rounds where he can't tell, hey, this is too close to call. I'm going to give it to the odds favorite.
Yeah, it almost seems like that.
Guys.
That's terrible.
That is incompetence.
Yep.
So this is why I urge everyone, do your homework, guys, in these big fights. That'll give you a greater idea on how to bet. Right?
Indeed, man. And great work, Joseph.
Thank you, my
So
friend.
before we go on to another topic here, guys, the referee. Now, look, hey, credit to them. They got the best referee in boxing right now, Thomas Taylor from the California State Athletic Commission to ref this fight. I've been saying this, guys, for those of you in the chat that have been here for a while, you know, for a couple years now, I've been telling you that Thomas Taylor is the best referee in boxing right now. He, in my opinion, he enforces the rules better than anyone, and he gets on the holding that has taken over a lot of these big fights that goes on, man, with some of these guys that drives fans away. Boxing fans don't want to see wrestling all night long. If they wanted to see that, they would go watch the fucking UFC. But yeah, we don't want to watch the UFC, guys. We want to see a boxing match. And holding is against the rules, and it's something I've been saying for a couple of years now. I've been telling you guys this all the time. He's the one guy that gets on these guys early. I've seen him as early as the second round jump on someone for holding, and then by round 4, he's like, "Hey, I've already given you 2 rounds. You know, I'm taking a point." And then what happens after that? The fight changes. And we get a much better fight. So,
guys, well, a much better fight in terms of someone getting knocked out.
yeah.
Because I tell you what, guys, this is why I changed once again the judging as well as Thomas Taylor. He's going to be a huge factor in this fight, especially down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I like the draw hedged with the Saul Canelo Alvarez knockout between rounds 9 and 12, and that yields plus 1,000 at the BetMGM. Because, guys, once again, what is Terrence Crawford going to do if he can't hold down the stretch?
Yep, he's going to be forced to just move.
Or
stay on the outside. Yep. Did we lose you, Joseph? You there?
No, I'm right here, brother.
Okay. All right, you went silent for a second.
I'm right here, man. Dude, you know what? And once again, it pains me to say this, guys. I've been thinking about this. And as much as I am going to be rooting for Bud Crawford, I do think the size is going to be just too much for him. I think Canelo is slid. He can't pull the trigger like he used to. He doesn't have the same reflexes like he used to. But Bud Crawford is not Floyd Mayweather. He's never shown that elusive defense like that. He gets hit. You can hit him. And if Canelo starts finding range within the first 2 or 3 rounds, Crawford is in trouble in the back third. Crawford is in trouble in the back third if he can't keep Canelo from mid to long range. If you see, do you remember watching the first Beterbiev-Bivol fight? And Beterbiev was already finding range in the first round? And you were like, oh, this isn't good. He's not going to be able to keep this up, man, for 12 rounds. And who won that fight? Beterbiev. Guys, I'm telling you, if you see Canelo start to close the distance effectively within the first 2 or 3 rounds, look out. You're going to see a Canelo stoppage in the back quarter or back third of the fight. That's why I like a group round bet plus 1,000 it yields a Canelo knockout between rounds 9 through 12.
Man, and those odds are that way because, guys, it's been a little bit since Canelo has knocked anyone out. So, yeah, that's why the odds are so are that way in the back half of the fight.
Maybe
QT is here.
Thinking this way, G Funky, but it's been creeping up in my mind. Kell Brook versus Gennady Golovkin.
I was just gonna start.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna bring up some fights over the last, 20 or 30 years or so where guys jumped up. But no, you brought one of them up, which was Kell Brook jumping up in weight. Didn't fare so well for him. QT here says this fight boils down to how much slippage has Canelo had. It'll be the first fight since Bivol. I think maybe he's saying like first, maybe elite fighter since Bivol. Yeah, I would agree with that. To come close to testing his slippage. Let's see here. Andre Ward on the call is the worst. I hate hearing him. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ward calling the fight myself.
Oh gosh, can you talk about biased?
Yeah.
This guy couldn't score a prize fight if his life depended on it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, Ward, what are you looking at? What fight are you looking at? Man, I just feel he's doing the better work. And I have Crawford winning 6 rounds to nothing. I can already hear it.
He's the ring general in there. Yeah, it'll be, boy, it's gonna be interesting. Let's see here. Steven says Crawford got to win as many rounds as he can in the first 6 to try to finish strong. Rounds 10 through 12, Canelo will get warmed up and be most dangerous in 4 to 9. Man, see, there's a lot of variables, man, in this fight. A lot on both sides. We got one guy who's in uncharted territory in Terrence Crawford, moving up in weight, fighting the best guy in the division. And then we got Canelo, who's been fighting since he was just a teenager. And you know, he's got a lot of miles on those wheels.
Sure does.
A lot of engine wear. He might be leaking some oil, you know. You know, all these things, man, you have to consider when predicting this fight, you know.
So many decisions. So many to choose from.
So many. But let's talk about some of the and you guys in the chat, if you remember some guys that, you know, have moved up and won a championship, moving up several weight classes like this.
Look, guys, look, I'm gonna compare these two. What keeps jumping out at me is Kell Brook versus Gennady Golovkin.
That's
but
one.
I think Gennady Golovkin at that time was closer to his prime than Canelo is right now.
Yeah, I agree. That's one right there where a guy jumped up 2 weight classes and got an immediate championship fight.
And he was doing great until he wasn't.
Until he wasn't. Jermell Charlo.
But no, I'm going to point to this one first. But then again, Roy Jones versus John Ruiz.
John Ruiz,
jumped all the way up from
light heavyweight
to heavyweight.
Yep,
and he was able to pick and poke his way to a victory, landing the cleaner, harder, more effective shots for 12 rounds and staying out of the camel clutch that the quiet, the huggy man John Ruiz put on you, right?
Yeah, and Roy Jones weighed an impressive 193 pounds, fully clothed, and probably had rolls of quarters in his pockets.
Had the weighted vest like Chris Arreola.
Yeah, so that's another one there. But he actually won where Kell Brook didn't win. Jermell Charlo didn't. Amir Khan, moved up.
Amir Khan, geez.
Yeah. Here's one here for the ages, right? Bernard Hopkins, after losing back-to-back fights to Jermaine Taylor at middleweight, which ended his streak, moves up to 175 and beats Antonio Tarver for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Man,
he sure did. He did beat Antonio Tarver.
Yeah, that was another guy in recent years, in recent memory, that did it. Who else, guys? Who else could we think of that did this? I can go.
Look. I mean, you could say Roberto Duran from 135 moving up to fight Iran the Blade Barkley at 160 and beating him.
Right, at middleweight. Guys with the wrenches, don't forget, man. Take care of some of that stuff in there for me. If I don't catch it. But I'm going to go back to nearly 40 years ago, I believe this fight took place. Or actually, 40 years ago. Michael Spinks moves up from light heavyweight to fight the champion Larry Holmes and gets the decision, man. Gets the decision there.
Sure did.
Yeah, there's another one here that didn't fare so well. Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence. Yep.
Oh gosh, that
terrible.
was a mismatch. That was a
terrible
mismatch.
fight. That's a terrible fight.
I spoke with Robert Garcia about that. He said, I was real close, man, to pulling the trigger and stopping the fight. So that's my Robert Garcia impression. How do you like that?
Oh man, but yeah, I can't really think of any other ones. I mean, obviously we can go back into history and talk about guys like Henry Armstrong and Sam Langford. Obviously Sugar Ray Robinson was just a few rounds away from becoming the light heavyweight champion, but in those days, guys, there wasn't as many divisions, so they weren't jumping up over a couple. Ray went from 160 to 175 to challenge for the light heavyweight title. I believe Henry Armstrong was featherweight. I think he won the featherweight title, lightweight and welterweight titles, right, Joe?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And those were just divisions apart, man. Back then, they didn't have the supers and the light divisions.
26, 35, 47, 60, 75, and heavy.
75.
75 and heavy.
So
after True Value Hardware Store.
So Terrence is he's putting his name in the hat with some of these guys who attempted to move up several weight classes and challenge. Oh, here's a couple like you brought up, Roberto. That's another one. This wasn't an immediate title match, but Sugar Shane Mosley did jump up from lightweight to welterweight, and eventually did become the guy at welterweight, beating Oscar De La Hoya back in 2000. He did have a hell of a fight with Wilfredo Rivera, who was a really good contender at the time at lightweight from Puerto Rico. That was a really fantastic fight. But I mean, yeah, there's quite a few that now I'm starting to think of. Any others you can think of, Joseph, while we're here?
That were this impactful? No,
not this impactful. No, definitely not. But
no, but you can always think of ones where, look, the one that comes to mind that I thought, and I remember interviewing Eric Morales before this fight. I was like, brother, you've got nothing left to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're a 4-division world champion. Why are you doing this?
What's going on, Kevin?
And he was moving up to fight Marcos Maidana.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like, what are you doing? And Eric goes, just watch and see, guys. Come on, I'm starting to get insulted. And obviously he was using Eric Gomez as a translator. And Eric was like smiling and kind of laughing, going, guys, I'm starting to get insulted. This is El Terrible. Guys, I can take care of myself in the ring. Watch, you're going to see it's going to be a much better fight than you guys think. This is not going to be a blowout. No one's blowing out Eric Morales. And I was like, if you say so, sir. And he did. He really held his own.
Yep, he sure did.
So I love that fight.
And again, guys,
came up short on the judges' scorecards. I thought it was outstanding. But once again, guys, it shows how tough it is to move up and win. Yep,
definitely. And styles make fights, man. And that style gave Chino Maidana some trouble, man. QT here says, do either of you think that Crawford genuinely thinks he can win this fight? Outside of the pay, is the motive different than, say, Jermell Charlo? I would hate to see him sell out. No, I agree here with Steven. I think he is there to win. I don't think he's going to lay an egg. Let's see here. Kevin says, Marquez did move up. That's right. To fight Floyd when Floyd, after he made his comeback. Yeah, see, Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here and you could remember some of these fights that I can't. Um, Pacquiao, that reminded me. Pacquiao moved up after he beat David
Oh, yeah.
Diaz, right, for the light heavyweight title, or for the not light heavyweight, lightweight title. Moved
Lightweight.
up
Yeah,
to fight
that was the
Oscar.
only fight at 135.
Yeah, and then moved up to fight Oscar De La Hoya after that. Let's see here. He'll be there to win until the first bite. Well, look, if look, anyone can be stopped with a great body shot, man. I mean,
Yeah.
body shots are different, guys. They are. You know, in the southpaw position, man. I've mentioned this a lot. That hooks with the lead hand, especially if you're the orthodox fighter, and you could time the movement of the southpaw. You can land left hooks and to the body as well. While they're moving out, you can get them to actually run into that thing. So, yeah, I could see Canelo possibly trying that on Saturday night, going to Crawford's body with that left hook. And boy, yeah, he's gonna feel it for sure if it lands, no doubt about it.
You're gonna feel something different. You're gonna see something different. Yeah,
Yep.
what a tough guy picking on a guy who's moving up 2 weight divisions. Yeah, he wasn't saying that to David Benavidez now, was he?
No, he sure wasn't, man.
Mas puto. Dude, how can his fans stick up for him? Like, not be embarrassed because of that. And Steven has the beat, man. That intelligent jab. Once again, guys, we went through this breakdown on my channel on Monday, was it, or was it Sunday? Chief Funky.
Sunday, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, it was Sunday. We that intelligent jab is going to be crucial. That's going to have to win and keep Canelo Alvarez frozen and at a safe distance for the first half of the fight.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to Coach Ronnie, man. I heard you and James do the show Tuesday afternoon or evening, and he made a good point where he said that,
he fights in spurts.
Yeah, Canelo fights in spurts, and Crawford is going to use his footwork. Obviously, I think we all can kind of see that happening here. So when Canelo does try to land a big bomb on Crawford, if he can see it and move out of the way and then attack him, once he gets him to miss with 2, maybe even 3 shots and get out of the way, I can see Crawford doing it. I think he's fast enough with the hands and the feet to do that in this fight. I agree with Coach Ronnie there.
It was a great point by Coach Ronnie. It's going to be really interesting to see the primary strategy of Bomac and Red Spikes and Terrence Crawford. It's going to be really interesting to see what their plan A is for this fight. And look, if I had to guess, it's going to be, once again, that intelligent jab is key. You've got to keep him frozen. He is a counterpuncher by trade, Canelo. That's what he does best. His timing is immaculate. And he is probably the best inside fighter in boxing, even still, outside of Bam Rodriguez and maybe Naoya Inoue. But no. He's a better inside fighter than Naoya Inoue.
I agree.
Yeah, but he's lost a step. And he can't pull the trigger like he used to. So with that intelligent jab, and once again, guys, what we mean by intelligent jab, incorporating feints, touch jabs with hard stab jabs to the body, chest, and head in different intervals, so you can't time it. You don't know when to let your hands go and counter.
Yeah.
So it's going to force Canelo to be more assertive than he wants to be.
And if he can get him to be more assertive than he wants to be, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for Canelo because that's not what he does best.
Yep. And then also keep the action in the center of the ring. And after you rattle off a hard counter or a combination, you turn him. You keep turning him. What did Eddie Futch say about that?
Yep. A charging bull can't fight in a circle.
That's it. That's it, guys. And so those 2 things are going to be crucial in extending this fight. guys, like I said, you're going to see this. The first 3 rounds are going to be crucial, guys. If you see Canelo already finding range, like Arthur Beterbiev within the first 3 rounds, Crawford is in trouble, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Crawford is in trouble.
And I agree with you here, QT. I mean, yeah, obviously getting a Canelo payday, much better than going undisputed at 54. Kevin here says, I still think the weight is going to be too much. He's going to be at a lot more sluggish. Oh, you mean Crawford? I don't know, man.
Yeah, he means Crawford. Look,
Yeah.
hey, we'll be able to know within the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on.
I think he's going to be okay, man. I really do. I don't think he's going to. I'll be surprised if he actually comes in at 168 or even close to that. I'm thinking maybe like 162, 63, something like that.
You know what, brother? I'll bet you he comes in at 165.
Yeah, I don't think he comes in at all the way at the limit. Let's see. Boxing Magic here says Canelo is going to time everything Crawford throws. Canelo always in position to strike with power, nice and easy. I mean, it's not like it used to be, though, man.
Going to do that.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be, man.
He cannot pull the trigger like he used to, guys.
Yep, I agree. Let's see, but what are the chances Crawford keeps the speed he had at 147, 54? I think he'll keep it, man. I don't see guys. It's look, in boxing. Yeah, it's 2 weight classes, but it's not that big weight in reality, if you dig what I'm saying. If he puts on like 13, 14 pounds, and that's weight that he doesn't have to cut. So he's going to feel much healthier. Trust me, guys. Crawford going to feel much healthier going in.
A much bigger factor than the speed is going to be, can he hurt Canelo Alvarez?
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened to Kell Brook when he found he couldn't hurt Gennady Golovkin?
It was that was all she wrote at that point.
It was a wrap.
Yep, that was all she wrote, guys.
You cannot earn the respect of your opponent by hurting him, making him think twice about just walking through the front door. You're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so long you're going to be able to keep him outside, and that was 3 rounds for Kell Brook, right?
Yeah, and in my opinion,
round, he started getting torn apart.
Yeah, and at that point, like you said, Triple G was, closer to his prime and fresher than Canelo, and plus, I just think he's much better at being the effective aggressor and cutting off the ring and using his jab to do that. Triple G, it was a different fight. I'll say that than what we got coming up Saturday.
Fight. Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. We're getting ready to wrap things up, guys. We've been here for an hour or so, but today, guys, and again, I don't usually talk politics or anything like that here on the channel, guys. But today is 9/11, and for us who are Americans and lived in America at the time that happened 24 years ago, the reason I'm bringing this up today is because that week there was a big fight planned, and Joseph already knows what that fight is, but I want to see if you guys in the chat can remember. Let's go all the way back to 2001, the week of September 11th, when the terrorist attacks happened in Manhattan. What was the fight that was supposed to happen that Saturday, guys? Can you remember? We'll give you guys a few minutes, but Joseph knows what it is. And guys, no mistake about it, man. It was a huge fight that was planned. Yep. Obviously, it got pushed back a couple of weeks due to what happened in New York that night or that day. The fight was planned to take place September 15th at Madison Square Garden. And my man, let's give him a hand here. Hey, right. Yes. Felix Trinidad versus Bernard Hopkins, guys, for middleweight supremacy, man. And my boy Tito moved up from welterweight, where he cleaned that division out, cleaned out the super welterweight division, and then went up and beat the brakes off of William Joppy. Got himself a fight with Bernard Hopkins, and that fight did not go well for my guy Tito.
Well, look, Bernard Hopkins did the executioner thing. He got into the head of Felix Trinidad.
Yes, he did.
He did the
Throwing the flag
flag
down.
incident. Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh boy, that really pissed off everyone at that press conference. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, I'm surprised Hopkins got out of there
He said
all
he
in one
almost did.
piece.
He said he almost didn't.
Indeed, man, indeed. And my boy Tito, and for most of you that know me, you guys know that Tito was my favorite fighter back then. But I just want to say this. It was a huge fight that was scheduled that week, and it was a big fight, Madison Square Garden. You know, obviously the Puerto Rican fans there in New York packed the place. But look, at the time, man, briefly, I just want to talk about this. Especially with it happening so close to where the terrorist attacks happened just a few weeks before. For me, there was a weird kind of feeling in the air for me watching that card that night. And for most of us, some Americans here, I think a lot of us kind of felt that way at the time. Things were kind of uncertain, you know, with what happened. You know, you don't, obviously you don't anticipate that happening here in this country, but it did. And then, yeah, for me, there was a weird kind of feeling around that event that happened back in 2001. Joseph, how did you feel about it?
It was surreal and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like it was, the air was thick. I didn't like it. I was happy to see boxing return, but I thought it might have been a little too soon.
Yeah.
You know, I just, well, look, but it was, guys, but that's what boxing is for us, though, guys. He is like your best friend who mistreats you at times, kind of picks on you at times, but he's always there for you when you need him the most.
Yeah.
And that's what boxing is for us, guys.
Yeah, it was a strange feeling, man. And you know, I know that there's some people that are watching live right now that are outside of the United States, but for those of you that were in the States at the time and remember when this happened and when this event took place, let me know if you felt the same way about that. You know, this was just 8 days after they started to do these things again. From what I read on Google, the first major sporting event that took place in New York after the attacks on the World Trade Center was September 21st. So just 10 days after the attack, it was I think it was the Mets versus the Braves at Shea Stadium. That was the first major sporting event to take place since
Shea
then.
Stadium.
Right.
Hey, do me a favor, G Funky. Can you pull up Boxing Magic Mexicide real quick? His last comment.
This is gonna be good. Okay, give me a second.
He says, "Well, Crawford hasn't impressed anyone lately. Don't forget to insult him." Oh, okay.
Oh my
I'm
goodness
sorry.
gracious.
Why would I want to insult Crawford? He's moving up 2 divisions. He's taking all the risks in this matchup. Tell me something, Boxing Magic. What risks are Canelo taking?
Right.
I'll wait. None. He's not taking any risks. Hey, but he's talking tough like he is. You're gonna see something different. Viva Mexico, cabrones. You're gonna see something different.
When Turkey back.
That's easy for you to say when you're fighting a guy who began his career at lightweight.
And
once again, Crawford is taking all the risks here. Why would I want to insult him?
Yeah, and when Turkey backed in the peso wagon and let Canelo go loco on it, yeah, then he all of a sudden he had no issue taking on Crawford. When before it was like, well, that does nothing for me, man. You know, that fight does nothing for me. And then to say that to insult him as if we were insulting Canelo, like, I mean, boy, this generation, boy.
I'm sorry, you don't think he deserves any criticism for being a big panocha and backing and not fighting David Benavidez? You don't think he deserves any criticism? Tell me something, brother. What mandatory challengers did he face the entire time he's had every belt at 68.
Indeed,
He had John
man.
Ryder, Gorilla. Woo!
Woohoo!
And if you say Avni Yildirim, I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, the Anvil Neidhart Yildirim.
The shit out of Avni Yildirim.
That's the Anvil Neidhart Yildirim, whatever. That's the first thing I thought of when I first heard of this guy. I was like, Advini? It sounds like Anvil. The Anvil Neidhart.
Chingao, man. I needed Advil, man, after wasting my time watching that one-sided mismatch.
Yeah, that was a waste of time. But
once again, why didn't he fight Benavidez when he was mandatory? Why didn't he fight David Morrell Jr. when he was a mandatory for 3 years?
Yep. Didn't happen. But yeah.
That's why, guys, if you think he deserves a pass and doesn't deserve any criticism, well, I tell you what, tell me how his dick tastes then, brother.
Man, yeah. I don't know if he's here anymore. Probably not, because he thought he got his feelings hurt because he thought we insulted Canelo. Oh God, how dare you?
Well, guys, once again, I'm usually very unbiased. I usually don't care who wins. I just want to see a good competitive fight, one that's exciting for the fans and good for the health of the sport.
Yep.
But guys, I am breaking my rule this time. I am breaking code, so to speak. And I am pulling out the Terrence Bud Crawford pom-poms in this one. Go, Bud. Come on, Omaha. Let's go, baby. Cornhusker power. Woo!
Hey, if he wins, Omaha steaks all week, all right?
Dude, Omaha steaks suck, dude. I'll be honest. Terrible. I made the sad mistake of buying them once.
Well, you're a Texas guy, so I can understand why you would.
Nikes. Yeah, dude, Omaha steaks.
Hey, yeah, Texas is the home of beef, right?
Famous for their steaks. Chingao, dude.
Oh man! So, guys, want to thank you all for sticking around. Real quickly before we shut it down here for the night, and then we will go live, guys, for the weigh-in tomorrow. I'm sure most of you know this by now. It's all over the internet. The unfortunate situation that took place in a college in Utah yesterday with a political, I guess you could call him analyst or podcaster, right? The guy was not in Congress. He doesn't write legislation, anything like that. You could almost say he's kind of like us. He comes on here, we talk about boxing, he comes on here, he talks about politics, and that's Charlie Kirk was unfortunately somebody decided to take his life while he was talking with kids on a college campus in Utah. Joseph, your thoughts real quickly on that, man.
Well, look, I think it's absolutely disgusting. And what I think is even more disgusting, or just as disgusting, is it's bad enough that someone feels the need to turn to violence when they're not getting the better of the argument or the debate. And let's be honest, Charlie Kirk, almost always he was on the winning side of every debate. He was that guy. And some people just couldn't handle it. And what's even worse, you have people celebrating his being gunned down in cold blood.
Awful, man.
Guys, there is a spiritual war happening in our society.
It's really unbelievable to see. There's even videos of, and I've seen this video on the internet where moments after Charlie was fatally shot, a guy who was feet away from where Charlie was sitting when this happened, there's a video of a guy that's cheering, pumping his fists in the air, and I'm just like,
oh my gosh, man!
What kind of person reacts that way?
It's not a person,
after just witnessing a person lose their life like that. Guys, that's not normal, man. That's not normal behavior. There is a serious mental problem in this country of the United
Guys,
States of
it's
America,
spiritual.
guys.
Ephesians 6:12.
Yes, it's
Our
terrible,
struggle is
man.
not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and the dark forces of the spiritual realm.
It's terrible,
Guys,
man.
it's a spiritual war happening in our
And
society.
and not only was this just a disgusting act by the assassin who is still at large currently, but this is also an attack on all of us, guys. Freedom of speech is under attack now in this country.
So
Where
does
you
that
can't
mean,
even.
wait a minute, does that mean when I go to these events, I've got to be looking behind my back for a
That's
Canelo fan that's disgruntled?
that's what I'm saying, man. You know, we have to consider that now, guys, with the way people are reacting to certain things. And this is the guy was literally having debates and discussions with people who had different opinions than him. That's what this country was all about, guys. And I'm saying was because it's not like that anymore. Now we're seeing people turn to violence simply because you disagree. And I'm not telling anyone that you have to like Charlie Kirk or you have to like anything that he says. Look, I've watched a lot of his videos, I've watched a lot of his debates, and I watch on both sides, guys. I'm what you call a middle of the aisle guy. I listen to both sides. And I love debates. I find debates to be very edifying, man.
You learn
Especially
more.
especially when you got guys that are really sharp going at it. You can learn a lot. That's why these things are healthy for society when ideas and issues are brought up. But in this world we're living in today, we can't even do that, man. Because people are being gunned down for it. Like we're in a communist country or something where if you have ideas that are different, they can silence you in many ways, jail you, or even end your life. Guys, that's not what this country is about. That's not what our rights are about here in this country.
This is only, 2 or 3 weeks removed from that terrible tragedy with the kids
being mowed down in church.
Minnesota.
My
and
God.
then it's only a week removed from that poor Ukrainian girl getting stabbed.
Terrible,
Guys,
man.
there is, I would say it's mental illness, but I know what the cause of it is. Guys, this is demonic.
Yep, and people are numb to the most heinous acts, which is ending someone's life. People cheering. This is really, guys, it's gone too far, man. And
you know what it sounds like to me, brother. Do you remember that movie Running Man?
Yes.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jesse Ventura back in the day. That's what this feels like to me.
That's a good point. I wouldn't even have thought of that, but that's a good point. For those of you that haven't seen that movie, check it out. But I'll say this in closing, guys. Once again, the fact that someone like Charlie Kirk was not preaching violence or even doing violence to anyone got his life ended in a violent way by just having debates and discussions with college students on campus, and someone decided to take his life because they disagreed with the man's politics. And that is just a straight attack on free speech, guys. And now, like Joseph said, because we go to events, sometimes we cover them as media, sometimes we're doing business at these events. Are one of these disgruntled fans going to recognize me and then try to do something to me now? Is this going to become a trend in this country where if you disagree, like, this is insane, man. This is insane, man. And
guys, so we're going to end this in prayer, okay? In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, we come before you with broken hearts and heavy spirits. Lord, we grieve the tragic loss of your child, Charlie Kirk, and we cry out for your comfort upon his family, his friends, and all who are shaken by this senseless act of violence. Lord Jesus, you told us in John 10:10 that the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, but you have come that we may have life and have it abundantly. We stand on your promise tonight. We plead the blood of Jesus over this nation, asking for your protection, for your mercy, and for your healing hand to rest upon us. Holy Spirit, we invite you to guide us back to the Father. Break the chains of hatred, violence, and division. Instead, clothe us in compassion, unity, and love. Help us to remember that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms, as Ephesians 6:12 reminds us. Please lift up in prayer the troubled souls who commit these atrocities. Father, through their action, though their actions are evil and grievous, we remember the words of Jesus on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. Have mercy on them, Heavenly Father, and bring them to repentance before it's too late. Lord, heal our land. Heal our United States. Forgive us of our sins. Draw us together under the banner of your Son, Jesus Christ, and not the divisions of man. Remind us that only through him can true unity and lasting peace be found. We declare tonight in faith and in hope that you are still sovereign. You are still good, and you are still in control. And we trust in you with all of our hearts, Lord Jesus, leaning not on our own understanding, but acknowledging you in all our ways, believing that you will make our path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. In the mighty, matchless, and healing name of Jesus Christ, we wholeheartedly trust and we wholeheartedly pray. Amen.
Amen,
Thank you,
man.
Lord.
Yeah, and guys, like I see somebody in here that, look, we're not playing politics here, man. Okay, so just save it. Okay, we're saying that our rights are under attack now. That's not a good thing, man. Okay, it's never a good thing. You know, in some countries in the world, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now. Okay, so yeah, we have to try to defend our rights as American citizens and especially our freedom of speech as much
Guys,
as we can,
and once
man.
again, if you guys are making this about race or politics, guys, this is a spiritual battle, and you're taking the bait.
Yep.
Do your research. This guy was not a racist. He was a God-fearing Christian and had nothing but love and kindness in his heart. If you genuinely are taking the bait and believe he's a racist and believe he deserved what he got, then you are part of the problem. You are taking the bait.
We have to, guys, we have
Educate
to
yourself.
Yeah, we have to really take these threats seriously. Because you can go out into any major city and see people standing on street corners downtown or in places where there's a lot of people, and they're talking about all kinds of things, guys. And the only reason why they're allowed to do that without being persecuted is because we have freedom of speech in this country. And that's something that we should all really respect and honor about this country, is that we do have the right to voice our opinion. But it's getting to the point now where people are gunning you down for it, man. And that's not right. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're on. It's not right, man. Either way. But with that said, guys, we're going to end it tomorrow. What time is that weigh-in, Joseph? Do you know?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm thinking of actually going on while your kids are at school, because the real weigh-in is at 10 a.m. We'll break the story. We'll break the weights for you guys if you guys are down.
Indeed, man. So we'll find out what time it is. Don't worry, we'll be live. We'll be talking about it, and we will give our picks.
Guys, the ceremony I think is going to be at 7 Eastern.
Oh,
right? But the real one's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yes,
so it's going to be noon my time.
They'll be stepping on the scales, guys, early in the morning, getting it done, and then it's time for the big show.
I know a lot of people there, so I'll get the skinny for you, and we'll give it to you first.
If I can get some time in the morning after we get the results, we'll go right on there, and then it's fight day, guys. So for my co-host tonight from War Week Radio, Joseph Heron, this is G Funky Boxing. You guys, God bless. Take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow. We're out.